Hello everyone. Welcome to the course Art and Archaeology of the Ancient Near East. This is Art History 209 or Archaeological Studies 209 at the Department of Art History. My name is Ömür Harmanshah and I am Associate Professor of Art History here at UIC, and I will be teaching this course this semester in spring 2021, and really looking forward to working with you this semester and meeting with each of you. In this video, what I'd like to do is to tell you about a little bit about myself, my background, and tell you why I'm teaching this course and how this course really fits in with my own research and academic work. This will give you an idea of how I would like to sort of really present this material to you. Secondly, I'd like to tell you a bit about the course, what we will be covering in it, what are the general objectives of the course, what are we going to try to accomplish this semester. Since this is a hybrid synchronous asynchronous class, which means that I'll be sharing with you every week video lectures like this one, a series of these lectures. I'm planning about 3 lectures a week, about 15 to 20 minutes each. These video lectures will present the course content to you. And then every week on Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. We will have a live Zoom meeting, a live Zoom session where we're going to go over this week's material, have a discussion on that particular week's reading. I'll answer your questions at that time as well. And these readings will be posted all on the Blackboard. For this course, we will be using the Blackboard this semester, so that's where you will have access to all of the course material, the course content, including readings, video lectures, PowerPoint presentations, the discussion board, assignments, and so on. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an architectural historian and an archaeologist. And my research focuses on the ancient cultures, architecture, art, and material culture of ancient Near Eastern societies and the Eastern Mediterranean world at the same time. So this is so the topic of this class is precisely my research field, what I study and teach most extensively. I grew up in Turkey and studied architectural design and architectural history in Turkey in my undergraduate and sort of master's degrees. So I'm one of those archaeologists who have a background in architecture. That's why I like to study architectural space, architectural technologies, cities, buildings, building technologies, and so on. And you will see the fruits of that a lot in this class. So I try to sort of create a balance between talking about art, works of art, material culture, objects, but also architecture and architectural space, even concepts like landscape, place, and ecology. So in 1997, then I came to the U.S. for the first time for my PhD degree to Philadelphia at the University of Pennsylvania, where I studied ancient art, and that's where my PhD is from. And I spent 8 years in Philadelphia. That's one of the sort of important cities for me after growing up in Ankara, mostly Turkey's capital city. I've written 2 books so far. You'll hear about them from me every now and then in this class. The first one is called Cities and the Shaping of Memory in the Ancient Near East. I'm going to show you, I have a copy with me without the dust jacket, but this is a book that was published by Cambridge University Press in 2013, and it's about, it derives from my dissertation, and it's about the idea of creating cities from scratch, the idea of building new foundations during the Iron Age in Mesopotamia, in Syria and Anatolia, and how this was used in a large geography as a shared architectural practice, and how different states, different polities actually used the idea of building a new city as a political tool, as a tool of propaganda, ideological discourse, and so on. So I looked at both sort of architectural practices on the ground, but also the way that these polities actually developed their inscriptions, written inscriptions describing these projects in them. Later and more recently, I wrote a book on rock monuments, images and inscriptions carved on the living rock in Anatolia during the Bronze and Iron Ages. That was called Place, Memory and Healing, an Archaeology of Anatolian Monuments. I'm sorry, I don't have a copy with me today at home. All of my copies are in my office. So that's where I got interested in questions of place and landscape, and ecology, and how rock monuments, rock monuments with images and inscriptions, how they were carved into the living rock, and how as monuments that endure time, endure thousands of years and sort of reach us today. And I was also interested in how these monuments were interpreted and new stories were told about them over different time periods, different throughout history. So my current work is on ancient landscapes, and I've been interested in the current debate on climate change and ecological crisis. How that's impacting the way we write history, the way that we write about ancient cultures as well. So I'm writing a book currently called Landscapes of the Anthropocene, Ecology, Heritage and Politics in the Middle East. That's also Middle East focused. You can read more about this research on my faculty profile page if you like, and there's a link on the Blackboard page and on your syllabus. I also direct an archaeological field project in West Central Turkey called the Albert Survey Project. This is a landscape archaeology project, and every summer, more or less about 5 weeks we spent in the field as a team of archaeologists documenting archaeological sites, collecting archaeological material, and documenting landscapes actually, and monuments as well. It's something that I look forward to every year. If anyone is interested in such field work, either for internship or as kind of volunteer work, please let me know. This course is a broad survey of the art, architecture, and material culture of ancient societies in the Middle East. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the sort of the content of the course. We're going to start with prehistory. We're going to go back all the way back to the sort of earliest villages, even some cave paintings in the beginning, early hunter-gatherer communities, and we will really cover about, I would say, about 9,000 years, all the way to the expedition of Alexander the Great around 330 BCE. the end of the Persian Empire, the collapse of the Persian Empire. That's usually the time period that's understood to be kind of really the end of Near Eastern, ancient Near Eastern cultures. We can debate that, but that's where I'm hoping to get to at the end of this class, which is mostly chronologically sequenced for you, and that and with Alexander the Great, the Hellenistic period starts, kind of really extensive Hellenization, kind of really this impact coming from classical Greece is really integrated into the East, creating a new sort of hybrid culture. We can talk about this in class as well. As some of you may already know, Mesopotamia, the region that is today occupied by sort of modern Iraq and Syria and Turkey, today was the home of the first earliest urban societies, and the invention of writing, the first cities, and so on. So it is a really incredibly colorful history that we're going to look at in this class. And we know an incredible amount of information about these cultures from the ancient world, simply because of the preservation of their writing, their archives, their cities, their art, their architecture, thanks to the work of archaeologists who have been working in this region since the middle of the 19th century, at least almost 200 years now. We can consider archaeology as a relatively young discipline compared to some of the other fields, but still there has been a lot of work, and we know quite a bit. And I'm going to try to share with you some of the things that we know really about Mesopotamia. So my main objective in this class is to help you familiarize with the art, artifacts, architecture, material culture of this region, but also, in addition to that, but also try to understand our sources, what kind of sources we have to tell these stories, right? What kind of sources do we have to write these histories? And also, what are the methods of studying the ancient past, the ancient art, particularly from archaeology, from art history, archaeological fieldwork, and even some literature, because we're going to read a number of ancient texts that are preserved on cuneiform tablets, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh and other epic poetry. We will be reading some examples of letters, some ancient treaties, some monumental inscriptions, even treaties signed between different countries, like the Kadesh, the Treaty of Kadesh between Hittites and the Egyptians, for example. So these texts help us to contextualize the works of art that we will be studying and the architecture that we will be studying. You can read the objectives of the course, more detailed objectives of the course in your syllabus and on the Blackboard site. As I mentioned in the email that I just sent you today, and this is Sunday 10th of January, this is a hybrid course, a synchronous and asynchronous course, as I mentioned. You may be asking, so what does that mean? So that it means that we will be covering the main content of the course in the first half of the week with these video lectures, and then on Thursdays we will be going over this weekly content. And every week we're going to have a thematic reading that is related to that particular week's work. And that reading, we will have a discussion on Thursdays around that reading. So this means that I will be asking you to sort of really watch the videos more systematically in the first half of the week, so that on Thursday, and also do the readings, and so that on Thursday we can have a productive discussion. So this allows me the Zoom sessions actually allow us to have a more open room for interaction and engagement, so that we both get to know each other, and then also do some collaborative work in discussing the readings. And so in the next video, I'm going to discuss in more detail a little bit what you should expect in this class, the general content of the class, more in a more detailed way, as a form of introduction to this course, and then and so I look forward to meeting you on Thursday. Again, welcome to Art and Archaeology of the Ancient Near East, and I look forward to getting to know you all and working together this semester.